right. Okay. 18 minutes past 8 o'clock across the globe. This is 8 o'clock in the United Kingdom. That's Greenwich Mean Time or winter time. This is Kassim Kayira with Come. Let's talk with him, with Kassim Kayira. Tonight, we are talking about a dilemma and we are trying to hear your solutions. Your global community conversation tonight looks at a situation where a Nigerian woman who is a British citizen invited her mom to come over to the United Kingdom after she had had a child, a baby, to help with the baby. Mother arrives, start looking after the child, but also, I'm assuming, with the lady now having mom around, being able to be flexible and therefore go to work, mom left in the house alone with the baby, bored, changing channels, probably watching some gospel music and all boring. But then the process probably just getting out of the door and picking up something or coming in from outside. There is a neighbor next door, a widower, Semwandu, who notices this lady and maybe, I'm just assuming, painting a picture, stretching my imagination as I would meeting by the door side. Hello, hello, hi, hi. Hello, hello, hi, hi. And the hello, hi, hi now goes into a conversation. How are you today? Many people now are experimenting, especially people in the West, the Caucasian, the white people, if I may use the word. They're very much experimenting with food. Some of us are still very rigid, blacks. Ugandans, for example, until and unless they eat toke, they have not had food. They wait for food until they've eaten toke. So I'm assuming, probably one of the days, jollof rice changes hands and, goes to the neighbor who is alone, who is now widowed, but he has children, probably grown up children who just come and go, but the man is there. So one thing leads to another. Conversation starts between mother of the lady who gave birth and the neighbor, the widower. Conversation goes from just chit chat to a bit more detail, to flowers, to picnics, to love letters. You can imagine now the sort of escalation, and this cannot just have been in one way, in one day or 1 week. These are things that are most likely spread out. You can imagine what the kind of interesting conversations are going on. Maybe mother even starts now leaving her own house next door to come to the widower and just have a chat, or probably inviting him over to come watch TV, watch a bit of the Nigerian channels on via YouTube, and while having the conversation. Of course, now once it crosses into flowers, into love letters, chances are, being who we are, that the woman had been lacking this, probably even from childhood. The last time probably they did was when the man, the father to this lady who brought her, were dating. Once they got together, the love becomes a truly conservative or traditional or missionary for that matter. Now, definitely what follows then is now their full-blown love. Daughter definitely will have thought it was just a neighbor to neighbor conversation until now it becomes much clearer that there was more to this than just the chit chat, the neighborly conversations. Man takes the step. I think mother had explained, I'm here on a visitor visa, which will expire very soon. I can therefore not be with you for long. Man decides to check with Home Office, gets an immigration lawyer to start processing papers for the mother so that now she can get to marry the widower. Of course, the dilemma is as this is happening, husband who was left back in Nigeria is unable to reach the wife. Lots of missed calls, untaken calls, and unresponded to calls. Probably that's the time when the network is not working so well. Here is the dilemma. As a daughter, the daughter who invited your mother to come and help you with the baby, she's found love, madly in love. You will know how Caucasians, people in the West, sort of display or show their love. Omukadde bayinza okuba nga baamukwata watakwatwangako. in terms of her heart, just, from the conversations and so on. She's not looking back. This is a very serious crisis now for the family. How does the daughter even break the news to the father back in Nigeria? What sort of conversation probably did the mother have with the daughter relating to this? I mean, as a daughter, mother, are you free to sort of have these conversations? There are certain things that become difficult to talk about, but probably mother and daughter, you can tell me the ladies on here. It may be just one easy conversation to have. How does the news get broken to dad? How do you convince dad that the daughter and mother did connive to have mother come over and then the rest is what we are having? What message will this send to other people who have had their wives come over to help with their children? Because I think that is one question that probably we should not underestimate. Imagine your wife has gone abroad to help, your daughter was just had a baby, and you hear this kind of story. Where does that leave you? I mean, they think about the unsettlement that comes with that. So that's the conversation I'd like us to have tonight on Come Let's Talk with me, Kassim Kayira, which I think should be a very interesting conversation. Beyond this, I would like always to stretch our own imaginations. Probably you brought someone from Uganda, from elsewhere, from Zimbabwe, from Nigeria, from Kenya. You brought them over to come and help you. They might not necessarily be your mom, but then they get taken because that's what it is. They get taken from you. How do you deal with that? Serious dilemma. Take it even back home. In fact, in the Middle East, what they do is because they have all these things in place when someone is taken because they go through an employment agency. Once they arrive, they take their passports, they take their documentation. So you stay there until the period that is agreed for you to work for this person. Probably that provides a bit of a safeguard. Of course, that doesn't apply to a parent. But I'm just wondering, how could probably this daughter, how would she be feeling at this moment in time? Beyond that, think back home. Where you go to the village and you get an LC letter, you bring this girl, young, naive, beautiful though, hardworking. She comes to Kampala, she comes to wherever city you are in, Nairobi or Kigali or Bujumbura. You bring this girl, you start working, the girl is looking after the child, cleaning home and all of that. The next thing is you have neighbors, young guys in the neighborhood. Probably you're living in a rented accommodation. It might even be that you are the landlord or landlady, but still you have boys' quarters in the back that are rented out. And you have these young people who start chasing after this girl. The next thing is she's pregnant. How do you deal? How did you deal with that? So that's just one way of extending this particular story. But I would like to hear your own take, first of all, on this particular dilemma that we have on our hands. How would you deal with that? The program is Come, Let's Talk with me, Kassim Kayira. It's nearly 8:30 in the United Kingdom. Very cold weather coming in, but I hope you're enjoying the cold. But let's get straight into the conversation. And I will come to Chance. I saw you joining as I was completing my introduction, but you've seen the blab, sort of the flyer leading us into this conversation. I would like to hear, first of all, your own take as a man, because I'd like to hear from the women a lot more, but I'd like to open the conversation with you, Chance. How, first of all, what's your take on this kind of situation that this lady must be in? Chance, are you there? Hello, Chance. Okay, maybe there will be another chance to hear from you. Asfa, I'll come to you, first of all, because I know building up to this conversation, we were having a conversation around it, and I would like to, well, hear publicly your take on this particular situation. Probably after we flagged it, you've been seeing, where the conversation was going, and maybe you have formed up an opinion. Asfa, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello, Asfa. Everybody's so quiet. My goodness. As far, should I assume that you are still running childcare duties, picking up the kids? Okay, hope to hear from you. Let me go to Mastura. Hello, Mastura. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ajati Mastura Jori. Hello, Mastura. I just want to be sure that people can hear me because it looks like probably I'm in the world alone now. Can you please give me a heads up that you can hear me and just raise your hand to tell me that you can hear me? I might be talking to myself. Let me be sure I have you. All right, Jaden, I can see you. Well, this story has already generated a lot of heat on Facebook, and I'll read these comments quickly as I get to open the microphone to you in the session tonight. I've got here Hafsa says it's a hard one. Che, Stephen Badinda says, hope you are not suggesting that the mother is already pregnant, the reason why she's no longer taking her husband's phone calls. But, anyways, the mother is old enough to take her own decisions. Let the daughter just convey the difficult message to her dad. Why would it be the daughter to convey the message? I think that would put her in much more hot water. Miriam Chumgasho says, cheers to her all the way. The dad will manage. Life is short. Anaya Wachara. Achuchu Uwimana was just laughing. Bushra says, I would support her, be fully involved, and when she settles with her newfound love, I would ask her for her help with my baby again. Do me, I do you. She no longer has control over her. Jaden, I think I'll have you say you're saying guilty as charged. That's on Facebook. Julia Oriare says, I beg, why is this her headache again? Why is she taking painkillers for her mother? You do you. Okay, Nadia Katumbura says, the mother is not a joke, but if I was in her shoes, I would inform the Home Office about the situation and they would know what to do. If the man does really want to marry her, she would have to go back to Nigeria and let the man do the right thing. The woman herself wouldn't even accept the marriage if at all she's back to Nigeria due to perhaps the pressure around her. What I'd forgotten to mention is the widower's children are very happy that dad has found new love. He seems to have, a whole reinvigorated life. And that is critical to the children, but also to the man. So that's support from the man, which probably would have been difficult. Remember, he's white, she's as black as Nigerian. Badi Abdunur says, well, this is her mother. She needs to let her be. Aha, what is the business of someone flying in to help with a newborn? Mother and daughter were originally in on this one. So this is Moby Wang Bagzi, I think, in South Sudan. Kwach Alex Akechak, again in South Sudan, says she should bring her father as soon as possible to the UK so that her father will deal with this dude in a physical fight that I'm sure is a joke. Well, it would be just very interesting. I don't know, Hajat Sarah, if you are available or if you are in work. I saw you messaging, so I'm assuming, oh, you are on. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Now,
How are you
how are
doing?
you? Alhamdulillah. How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, I'm okay.
Allahumma ameen. Good to hear from you. Well, we have a situation here now.
Well, if you are someone as old as me, such things wouldn't be surprising you anymore. Because situations like that have really happened everywhere. People do what they want to do. There is no shame anymore in this world. Um, I have seen so many women have come because they have been invited by their children, but I haven't seen one who has gotten a man and refused to go back because of a man. Some have got into work and they forget to go back home where they left their husbands, and the poor men have struggled and really had One even died before his wife went back, and he was really a sad man. And he cast all his children and mom because for him, he thought it was the children because they were big. They invited the mom, and the mom never wanted to go back, and he always blamed the children for retaining their wife. Other incidents that are very common are with the young men who have brought their spouses from Uganda or in other parts of the world, and they've come here and lived with them with a few months, and then gotten into other groups of women who have advised them to do things, and they have left the young men. I have a few close ones that I know about. This young man struggled for almost 4 years to try and bring his wife here, and it was nearly impossible. What he did was he started a family in Uganda, had two children with a wife, and having had the children and then being British, it became a bit easier because when the two children got the passports, then he was able to call them in, and that made the trick. And they were here, they came in here. But before that young woman came, he played a major role of getting the man and separate the man from his family back home, even his own mom.
Mm.
She was someone who wanted probably the man to herself, that anyone who got closer to her ended up being tarnished. She would always have stories about them. And what touched me most, I was concerned about the brothers and sisters because they were so close with their brother, but the woman always had some ill stuff to talk about them, and the man always believed him that they became apart. But when it came to his own mom, I felt so sad, and I said to him, "But do you really think you should always take this woman's side? Even your mom, the mother who birthed you, the mother who has been there for you, who even used to go in the market to try and get food for you. At least you should have the benefit of the doubt with her." But he didn't listen, and he spent like 2 years without speaking to his mom. So finally, the lady came here, and I knew deep inside that, when someone behaves like that, it will be just a matter of time for her to do the same with you. So when she came here, she had a few friends who had left Uganda quite a long time ago, and they wanted to find a house to live with the children, and because she wanted things to happen so quickly, and maybe she wasn't even interested in the man anymore. She feigned that the man pushed her on the stairs, and she made a case on him, which affected his also DBS. That today he has a criminal record. He had a profession that was tarnished because he couldn't work with people anymore. And I am the one, when she first came here, who found her first job. And guess what? The place where she went to work, that's where she got her husband today. I don't know whether they're still with together, but she's had two children with that man, which is really sad, given the fact that the young man tried his best to do whatever he did to have his wife here and spend so many years, that kind of holiday relationship when you only get into marriage when you have to travel home for a few weeks of your off time.
Mm.
And that's that sad story. Then there is another story that concerned me. I came here, and when I first came, I came on an invitation of just like as a visitor, a visit invitation. So the young woman that I worked with really had felt so sad that every time she had to give me my wages, she had to send it through. So by then we had the salaried kind of places where we would send the money and would tell her that on Friday, oh, please send it home, and it all go home. And I never had any savings. And she was like, but you have a big family and you have lots of responsibilities. I think the best I can do for you is find someone to get you papers so you can go into care work where you can earn more. And she did it for me. And she said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to invite my sister-in-law to come and take up your place. And the invitation was successful. She managed to get a sister-in-law, and I went into care. I left them. But the sister-in-law she brought in started getting girlfriends for her husband. And because she was the one in the house, it was easy for the man to sleep around with women in the house because she was the one getting them in and as friends and then going. And finally, she broke up their marriage. And they both left. Her husband left with her sister, and they went from their own place. And there she was, poor woman who tried to do best for her sister-in-law and me, ended up into trouble. So these things are happening. It's just that today things are being put on social media that people get to know about them, but these things are so common. They happen in different ways. So those are a few. Then, like I told you about some women who have come here. One of them was an auntie to my husband, my late husband. She came and spent several years. She had come on a visiting visa, and there was no reason because for her to stay here because she was an older woman. Her children were all independent. Didn't need to work for anyone, but she was like, I don't want to go back. I'm staying here and I'm going to build my own house. And she struggled so much all the time. I'd speak to her and I said, but do you really, you left your own home. You left your husband there. Why do you really think it's important for you to build a separate house for yourself? And how many years do you think you're left with that are making you struggle? And then you go back home and live in that house. And it so happened that around COVID time, when she had just gone back to Uganda, after spending here like 5 years and building a house, she never even slept in the house for like a few days. She was killed by COVID. So we all have different mindsets. For those who think that this woman, whatever she's done with the Caucasian man is right, well, I'm not going to be the one to judge her, but
Oh, so are you saying what she did was wrong? But if
oh,
you say,
well, for me, coming from where I come from, I
mm,
think we should respect ourselves. If you have a child who is old enough to give you grandchildren, I'm sure you're not a young person. You
mm,
might be in your 50s. So, how many more years do you think you're going to live with this man? And how is that man going to trust you, a married woman who has just left your marriage and decided to jump into another man's house and live with them? So, where is your respect? Where is your dignity? And what do you think your daughter's husband is going to think about you? Yeah, because some of the things we do affect our own children. Do you think your son-in-law is going to respect you and also trust your daughter? Because he'll be like, baby, probably my wife will also do the same thing like her mom. Yeah. Yeah.
yes.
At our age, when you're older, you
But
have
but
to
but
think,
Ajad Sarah, do you see the point that this woman probably suffered the kind of things that this neighbor brought in were things that she had not seen probably
uh,
all her life, and she had only
ah,
read the last time in a Mills and Boone,
oh
and
my
suddenly
God.
she was now seeing it live, the
She,
flowers, the stolen
KKK.
moments. Now, I'm just
Even
playing the devil's advocate here, and I'd like to hear.
yes, you can be the devil's advocate, but you don't. Let me tell you something. It doesn't have even to be happening to you to
Mm,
see things you have never seen before. Yeah, you may be in your own marriage and you see your friends or sisters or whoever, other women who are close to you. They have different things that they are given or things they own in marriages.
mhm.
Everyone doesn't have to be the same. It doesn't mean that if it's not happened to you before, if it happens to you, you have to drop whatever you have because you're getting something. What is in the flowers anyway? Yeah. What is in the flowers? All you see is smell them and put them away. What is in the
No,
flowers?
but
Yeah.
it's an African, and in an African context, you wouldn't have it. Hajara, I'll come to you because you raise a very important point, but I need to finish with Hajat Sarah here. Uh,
Mm.
Hajara is saying the man was looking for a carer. That's why his children were happy. Their father now was getting a carer. Because being a
Mm.
widower, probably he's in his late 50s, probably getting into the 60s as well. But
Mm.
Hajat Sarah, I was just thinking about this emotional suffering. Many of our mothers lived with our fathers, yet, yes, but there might have been all these missing elements, shouting at them, whatever. Now you come to a man who is coming in to bring, and probably I don't know how long this mother is going to be, living with the daughter, helping with the child, probably a year or 2 years. and the dad back home is surviving on the phone calls, which are now not going through. But here is a woman, I'm trying to put myself in her shoes, devilishly so, just trying to imagine you've suddenly seen care, you've seen TLC coming straight to your face, something that you have not had, but probably you have longed for so much. Maybe it started as just a moment, sort of feeling the excitement. Every woman likes to be praised. Every woman. I mean, if you dress and you're coming out, no vow, no yamba, no koma nobody has really looked now. It feels like a fail. But now this woman probably gets appreciated by a man who is just seeing her, who's never known her, and she feels like, oh my God, someone is seeing something that someone who I've lived with has not even acknowledged for all these years. Do you see my point?
Shakeke,
Yeah.
like I get your point, but for me,
Mm.
it's not a big point because for me, I see what is in my mind is whatever I do is going to reflect on my
Imply.
children.
Hmm.
So if I'm going to keep my dignity, I have to behave a certain way. And
Hmm.
I know there are things that I may not have in life, and I have to accept that. If they didn't happen, they don't have to happen now. Because today, what I am single, I'm a widow too, and I'm in my 57. So if I see a man coming to me, I'm thinking about the children. What kind of way are these? What am I trying to do to my family?
But Haja Sarah,
Because
when do you live your life when all you are thinking about are
well,
children who have
sometimes
now
life.
grown up? You've got feelings. You've
No
got to
way.
live a life
Well,
that
these are things of the brain.
Mhm.
Yeah, these are the things of the brain. It's all about what you put in your head. If I don't put it there, it's not going to matter. Because I'm now looking forward to look after my grandchildren and they give me the happiness I need. I don't need a man for that. But that's me. And I will leave everyone else to do their own thing. But for me, my
Yes.
respect and dignity
Yeah.
matters so much. And as
Okay.
a Muslim woman, I feel I'm happy where I am. And I'm
Thank
not going to jump into any man's bed because, oh, I have still feelings and I have no care how other people will look at me. There is society looking at you, there is your children, there is everyone else. It doesn't have to be just me. Thank you so much, Sheke.
Thank you very much, Ajat Sir. I'll only add that the fact that tonnafuna akujjira ng'akujjidde aliwo ayinza okujja ng'okumwekuulamu omwekuuliramu mulako. Thank you very much. Issa Makumbi's hand is up. Haji Issa, assalamu alaikum, engineer. How are you, sir?
Fine.
Ajat Sara
Isa,
has
Isa's
remembered
usual.
now.
Isa's usual.
Yes.
Controversial is as a app.
Hmm.
Yeah,
But
congratulate the lady for having picked the right woman,
yes.
the right woman, the right husband.
Hmm.
Thing is, that is common. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you very well.
Hello?
We can hear you absolutely well.
What I'm saying,
Yes.
yeah, it is so common for men to run with girls.
It's so
When
common
they,
for men to do what?
it's so common
Mm.
running with girls or with the neighbors.
Right.
It's common
Hmm.
that it becomes a taboo. Equal right has come into practice. The woman has got a husband in Nigeria, whatever it is, but has found someone whom he loves, and she's free to go with that one. What I would advise her to go to Nigeria and divorce that man and then get on with the new man has found. Life then will be no more. The thing is,
Is that easy in an African context with all the family and so on and the
well, we
traditions that would go with that?
forget about African content. People have become more like a word village, whereby anybody can have different cultures, get somewhere, dump those cultures, acquires new ones. I've seen usually African men, they don't know how to look after their wives. No, see someone has never even thought of buying a flower to give to someone or appreciating it. They
But
all take them out.
flowers don't mean much to us.
Hold on.
I'm
It's
hearing.
appreciation of saying that I'm really in love, I'm getting on well with you. It's just a
Mhm.
token of appreciation. When it
Ours
comes
want
to
a plot. Let chapa mungaro. That might be a
No,
better.
well, that's what they after Chapa Mungalo, which is too expensive, which is too expensive. You give them the Chapa Mungalo, they run away. The next day they will divorce you, which is so common. But you have to pull up the socks, whereby you have to look after our wives or our girlfriends, appreciate giving a small token or present to cheer them up or to spice up the love. But for us, if you're not into that, someone gets someone in, get a new man, takes off, lifts off the floor, then she's gone. You just have to accept that it's your life. We have to compete and come to learn we live with those behaviors.
Isa, do you think men now reading this story, if you are assuming you are going to allow your wife to come to abroad to look after your grandchild who has just been born, do you think that might push some men now to sort of put a stop to their wives moving? Would you worry
Yeah,
if you
here it
saw a
is
story
common
like this?
in
If you saw a
Kampala.
story like this,
You
would
see,
you worry as a man to allow
hold
your
on,
wife?
hold on. Here it is so common. One marries a wife, he goes somewhere, he gets a visa to go to Middle East. The next day, she's gone. You are told by a neighbor she has gone to Middle East to work, to become the kadam. So it's a common practice. Men do the same thing. When they get the visa, they don't go home to tell their wives to just disappear in the thin air. By the time you know they are in Middle East or somewhere far away. So it's a common practice. We just have to accept that economic situation has changed the way of life of anybody.
So are you
So
supportive of this widower stealing the lady? Do you think, according to you, the lady is fine?
I see no reason why I shouldn't steal her. She's a widow. The woman has come all far away from Nigeria, find a new man with new culture, looking after her, liking her, been living in Africa with a miserable man who usually bullies her or doesn't appreciate what she's doing. So why can't she pick someone who really loves her? I'll just advise us to pull up the socks. If unless you pull up the socks, we'll be in the same boat.
Thank you very much, Isa. I'll leave it at
Oh,
that. I'll probably come back. Let me go to Hajara in Southampton and just here. Hajara, you're saying the man was looking for a carer and he just managed to get one. Welcome to the
Assalamu
conversation.
alaikum wa
Wa
rahmatullahi
alaikum
wa barakatuh.
salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I just stepped into this conversation and
Yes.
listened to Hajat Sarah,
Mhm.
but I think I was there was a Zoom where I think Sheikh Raidi made a comment that everybody has Maro.
Right.
So sometimes people put Muzungu on a pedestal. When you back home, when you see white person, oh Muzungu, Muzungu. There's a Muzungu that does taxi in Uganda. They still look at him like he's everything, you know? So,
Mm.
but just the fact that it's his skin color or he speaks different, he's seen in a different way. So this woman, perhaps she was in a marriage that love had already disappeared. The kids have grown. They've left the nest. She stayed in the marriage just to raise the kids who are not there anymore. And now she has an opportunity of coming to England, and that's where she displays her malo. Oh, I've come to the land of the Mzungu. Now this man is doing these things for me, and let me try something. But the man, to me, the man and his family were more clever than the woman, because he he's lost his wife, he's grieving, he's in his old age, perhaps. We don't know what age, because you didn't give the context of the age.
No, that most likely he would be in the late 50s, early 60s, probably.
So he's just got himself a carer for life, because these people, anybody who's done care work, somebody will be in their 70s without proper care, and they will look like they're 80 plus. So for me, they were clever. He got himself a carer for life, because when you go in care homes, the people who are there are, I'm sorry to say, but are black people, are Nigerians, are Ugandans, So that's what the kids are seeing, and let's take this opportunity and go with her, you know. But is there love? I'm not so sure. For the woman's side, she may look at it as love, but I think the man is not seeing it as love. He's seeing it as companionship.
Does companionship not matter though? I mean, when it gets to a time like that, does companionship not matter? Because it might be that that's what you're looking for.
Let him die if he's had, let's say, property and savings and everything. That's when this woman will know how much this man loved him. Because the kids are there, they're going to throw her out as soon as he dies. She's a nobody to them. So she's left a man.
Hajar, I think I'm looking at almost three, nearly four different scenarios here now. And I would like us, please help me through this conversation, try to explore these particular elements. I'm creating four scenes that are sitting separately. You have a woman who you have called comes with Maru. There are lots of things that we have read about Oibos, or the white people as they call them, the Bazungu. You've lived all your life married to a black man, a Nigerian man. You come to Europe, there's that excitement, rural, urban excitement. You've come here, you have this person. I'm seeing a conversation and I try to paint a picture of the hello, hello as you meet by the doorstep. Maybe trying to go with the baby outside, on a stroller and so on, just trying to exercise your legs. You're coming in, this man just starts with a hi, hi. Before long, you start seeing a person that cares, a person that begins to find out, takes interest in your life. You start having conversations like most of these lonely people do when they try to look for places where they can find, have a conversation. This is one person who has had an emotional inadequacies, and then all of a sudden you find someone who comes to tell you you are great. You can imagine this woman in this particular age, probably with a husband. They have exhausted a lot of what was there between them. It's not like they can go their separate ways. They are still husband and wife, but they've exhausted a lot more of what made them. Here comes someone who comes to appreciate you and tells you Hajara Urimboko. In this context, suddenly every woman would fall for this. And I really want someone to try to understand this. Let's not ignore this in any way, because we might be looking at it from a holier than thou way, but I would like you to just look there. Where you've not had, this kind of love, suddenly there's this new adrenaline rush over someone who has said all these sweet nothings, brought in picnics, brought flowers, wrote love letters in a time of, when we have forgotten all of this. And someone is going the old way and sort of rekindling things that you have probably lost, which probably she had last when the man, the father to this daughter, was only beginning to date her. Now, suddenly you have this coming in. This is one scenario. Scenario two, you have a man who has seen a lady, well, without a husband. So the conversation just started from the element of companionship. The woman needs companionship in the time that she's spending over here. The man needs more companionship now after having lost his wife. So there's the care element there that you mentioned, but there's the element of companionship. Now you have a daughter, which is scenario number three. A daughter now who has a mother who she had counted on to help with, the child care. Suddenly, someone comes into the picture and someone takes more interest. You can imagine now the mother making all sorts of excuses to be out of home, to be more with Mr. Neighbor, and the implications of that. Depending on the kind of relationship that this daughter had with the neighbor, just in terms of neighbors, the neighborly relations, suddenly we have now a new relationship that will have to be a stepdad relationship. And that's why I think she comes out of this confusion, out of this dilemma that she has to deal with, almost probably seeing a person that you either undermine and then suddenly he's going to be your stepdad. I want us to try to sort of find a way of finding a sort of a meeting point for all these different perspectives. I don't know if you see where I'm coming from with this, Hajar. And I'm wondering whether that makes you change your position at all.
No, I won't change my position, because this is an onion that needs peeling, but we just scratch the surface, because we're going based on the abstract you put in today's flyer. So there's a lot we don't know. However, the first bit, African culture, we don't do flowers and roses and all of that. The least we can try is hold hands. But that she was raised in Nigeria. These people are tough more than Ugandans. So most of these things that we're thinking that she's longed for, she got married knowing that my husband is not going to buy me roses. She knew that.
But Hajara, we grew up reading these Mills and Bones, and there are those things that are stored at the back of your mind. You don't know about until you sort of push yourself into them. I don't know if you. I didn't think I would love flowers. Somehow you start thinking about them. So
You wrote and said
let's
she
not
never
rule
knew
out.
how
Let's not
to
rule
read.
out. I beg your pardon?
You wrote that he taught her how to read. So she never read any Mills and Bones.
Any Mills and Bones.
The writer. So she never wrote, she never read it.
Why isn't she fantasizing about horse riding? Mills and Bones had horse riding.
Maybe the horse riding is coming next. It might be part of the picnics that were taking place.
There's a lot to this.
Yes.
For me, the one that I will stick to is the caring aspect of things. Okay. Yes. About the daughter, why isn't she still childminding? Seeing Peter next door doesn't stop her from looking after the children. In fact, Peter might want her to continue with her childminding duties, but there's a lot. I will just stick to the caring aspect of things.
Caring aspect, all right.
Yeah.
No, thank you very much.
That's where the jackpot is for the man and his family.
Thank you very much, Hajar. I've never had you being this combative, and I love that spirit. It's got us talking thus far. If you've just joined us, the program is Come Let's Talk with me, Kassim Kayira, dealing with a dilemma tonight, and we are live on 75W Radio, live on Umma, connected on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Zoom. Hasfa, I'd like to bring you. I couldn't get you earlier on. I think now, having had you, you are in a position where probably we can have a conversation. And Isa Makumi, I can see your hand. I'll come to you. Quick message from Hajat Sarah here, who says, I think if we are to follow such feelings, then most marriages will be broken. Most married couples have had butterflies in their stomachs from other people, but have dismissed them in order to keep their marriages. Flowers, you run away from your husband for them. Very funny. No, it might just be one of the ingredients. Yes, Hasfa, salamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
First of all, your take on this. What's your take?
It's, honestly speaking, it's so morally wrong. For you to imagine Ngolese Mama and all of a sudden to help you. And all of a sudden, she just goes AWOL with the neighbor. Tata wa kubira, mama wali atya nga takwata simu, nga nebyoyogera tosobola kubitegeera. It's just so morally wrong. I just cannot imagine. The position mama gye yateekamu muwala we. Because these butterflies, Sheikh KK, you're saying, it's all temporary feeling. Kubanga today you have them, tomorrow ogenda mutunulira ogakalirira we berigaya, kalirina erisajja, lerizungu, ekagamba, agenda kukutama in all sorts of ways. Neroka wobuuza flowers, bali bamu serenading nazo. Then what?
But someone did mention, you remember on Facebook, someone says life is too short, you just leave it. If this person, how do we know? Probably this lady had fantasized about having, a white guy at some point, and then here comes this man with all, the tenderness, the TLC that suddenly she has missed. I was actually hoping that many women are going to be supportive of this woman. As immoral as it seems, what she's done.
Oh my goodness. Shekeke, in hindsight, what she did with the neighbor perhaps doesn't sound too bad, because I've ever had a mother who came to help her daughter, Ngazade, and ended up being the wife.
Ended up stealing the daughter's
son-in-law. Yes.
So
And then,
where did the daughter go? Did they stay together in the house, or did they?
yatambula n'amuviira. She had to leave the marriage. And then the mother yafuuka omukyala. And the community, this is in another state. I don't even want to say the state. Naye it was so bad. It was really so bad. Naye nga tebafaayo.
Did the relationship last? Did they hold?
I don't even know if they're still together. Naye yakyawa maama we. N'amukyawa baganda be bonna ensi yonna n'emukyawa. Naye nga weebuuza, what kind of feelings are those that you cannot hold back and say, no, when I will not cross this line. This neighbor may be, like Sister Hajara said, maybe he needed a carer, maybe he needed companionship. Now yet the position he put his daughter in with the father, and this is something I think that happens all the time. I think you talked about the situation bakadde baffe bwe bakula, then we always take care of the mothers ne balekayo bataate, in Africa.
Yeah.
So this is almost a similar situation. I love my father so much, and I cannot imagine nga this is a situation nga bakuba essimu nnyamwaliridde awa nnyamwe yasigala waliwo omuzungu abadde ennaku zino amuwa ebimuli. I just cannot imagine. I don't know what kind of feelings wosobola ogamba nti.
So how do we break? How do you think this news should be broken to the father? Because someone on Facebook was suggesting that now it should be the daughter to just tell the father.
I would not tell my father. I called, first and foremost, when people assemble, call the home office. I think that is going a little too extreme. Kumanga, muntu mukulu, she knows what she's doing, and you cannot put her like on a leash and say kale daye Uganda over daye Nigeria. I think that is going overboard. Baba muntu mukulu nga asazeo, going to the home office is a total wastage of time. Kubanga baba China visa, she can always go back and then still come back. That will never go away. Naye, oh subhanallah, I just lost my train of thought. But I would call my father while my mom is there. Mugambe, you talk to your husband right now. Probably that is what I would not be the one to break the news to my father, or else I would go through somebody to tell my father what my mom is doing.
Do you think the lady is just trying to jump the gun and they were in on it with the mother, as some people have suggested?
No, I don't think so. I imagine a scenario, for instance, maybe it was a planned marriage. Ngaliye Nigeria ne bamugamba waliwo ekisajja nga wuuyo omuvubuka whatever, a planned marriage, no feelings nga bw'obimanyi ebyewaffe, Africa, no feelings, no nothing. Bawuye bakuwasiza ozadde abaana kagamba n'ebintu bye butterflies nga tobimanyi.
Aspa, let me bring in Junior Simba, whose hand is up here. I think he has a view. That would be Abdullah Hamis, I think. Junior, assalamu alaikum. Please go ahead, Junior. Junior Simba. Hafsa, thank you very, very much. I don't know. I honestly thought this conversation would take a different route altogether, but it looks like it's holding a different way. Junior Simba, you can unmute yourself, please. Just click on the unmute button. I've sent you the request to unmute.
Okay, you seem to be sympathizing with the woman.
I'm trying to understand her. I'm just trying to. I'm trying to picture a situation of what could have happened. Yes, but Abdullah Hamis, go ahead. Salaam alaikum.
Yes, I'd like you to put in the figure that that lady is your mother.
Yes.
How do you think yours particularly, because I've been listening, you have a different way of having, but if it was my mother, even my mother talking to another man, I feel jealous. But what about this one? I'm telling you the truth. Yes, I don't mind what they did with my father, even though daddy beats him every day. I don't mind. Yes. But another man standing with my mother talking to her,
Mm-hmm.
So that's because girls are different mostly. For them, they don't see it that's very, very bad. But most women will have a strong heart to our mothers. We don't like any man to go on this,
Yes.
we that one. I don't know whether others are like me. I had a guy who was talking. I say, my God, if you pick a picture, do they just say that they are still alive? If it I was, but if even though I know some of them, they are talking this, maybe they don't have their parents.
Yes.
As myself, I don't have any parents now, but
Mm-hmm.
I am putting a picture before in the 70s. I found my dad and my mom with a man. Oh, that would be because I don't know how to scratch the guy into pieces. This
So,
is me.
but this is a girl now. This is a daughter.
This is a daughter now. A daughter now. Women,
Yes.
they have a way we say, "Omwana sera na nyina."
So you think the daughter is in on it now and trying to jump the gun by bringing it to the
Yeah,
public?
yeah. The daughter is either mama mulekasa UK.
Mm.
Just for them, they don't know that place is belongs to one person only. Does not belong to anybody. Once somebody has entered there, finish. And once a lady goes with another person, my God, forget. Just tell her to pack and go. She will not be any other, because the way how you go to put your figure inside your brain,
Mm.
say, is this the way how my woman is been doing? And then that will polarize your morale, and really, you won't do anything. You won't go ahead. We have that mentality, which is we are born with, because we are born, we are not born to be loved. Okay, we are born to be respected, and within a respect, that's where I will know my wife love. But a woman telling me every day that I love you, like a flower you are talking about, for me, it
Yeah.
happened to me about the flowers you are talking about.
Did you give the flowers or were you given the flowers?
No, no, this happened when I had a girlfriend and
Yeah.
the dad died.
Mm-hmm.
This girl, I was paying her school fees in Nairobi.
Mm-hmm.
So my friend, he was a bit chap because he studied in my career. So for him, it was I think let me say this over. So he said to me, "Tugenda kuzika nti tukuze na chimuli." Ningamba, for what? Ningamba, you stupid. Ningamba, why? God, we have to buy a flower. We bought a flower. It was only me who came with the flower. Now, can you imagine that girl has a brother, nobody was in the army, I been by the bantu babona bakulukulu tewali yajja na kimuli.
Yes.
Nze nzekka ate ono mukwano gwa Steven yangamba tugende n'ekimu kino genda n'ekimu ekita oli musezaalawo olina omuzikana era bwe natuuka wali nze nzekka
So
natunuulira.
did the girl appreciate the flower or she thought
I
it was
don't.
stupid?
She was there, but I don't know whether she even appreciated it. I'm telling you.
Mm.
Although she was in a family of being that, but because the father was I think it was the father was this, they call them Canaan. Canaan. Eh?
Yes.
These people who plays, put a long something here white in
Yes, he was a
the
canon.
canon. Eh?
Yes,
Yeah.
canon.
The father was a very big man in the church.
Mm.
But none of their people even brought flower. So a flower, we are not being in that category. We knew our generation when we were still younger. We know even the handkerchief was even a difficult, even a letter to write it to go to take to the girl. We even really used to fear.
Mm-hmm.
So we are not brought up in that aspect. We are being brought up in a different way. So we shouldn't say that the flower is important. What's the flower for? I'm asking girls, what's the flower for? Why should we adapt people's, because they don't have where to put the money. That's why they can buy flower. Don't you know that? For me, I've been saying that they don't have where to put money.
So, Junior, tell me, how do you think this situation should be resolved? How should the daughter deal? Because she's the one asking for help, for advice. How would you advise the daughter now, this lady who has found love in a neighbor?
Are you talking about the mother or
Yeah, I'm
the
talking
daughter?
about the daughter now because it's the daughter who has asked for help. She's
Okay.
confused. She's in a dilemma.
Me,
How would you
I could
advise the
advise.
daughter to go about it?
Yeah, I would advise the daughter to take an action to send mom back home.
Mom seems untouchable. Actually, I have a friend, I have a worker who sold chili about a week ago.
Uh-huh.
He used the words in Luganda, haji sichafugika nakute kusente. Haji sichafugika. I'm trying to think of the same word now. Guy sold about 60 boxes of chili from the farm. And after getting money, he's told me, haji sichafugika nakute kusente. I'm imagining the mother now being nafunye love sichafugika. Of course, in Igbo or Yoruba, whichever tribe the lady is. What if she cannot go back?
I take action, taking this action to the government to help me.
All right, thank you very much,
Yeah.
Junior. Thank you very much. Isa Makumbi, your hand has been up so much. I'll bring you back in here. Just maybe to clarify as we take the conversation. 9:15 in UK. Very interesting conversation. When I was thinking I'm taking the conversation, it looks like, well, you are still in charge and you're driving it
Responding
very well.
to Junior Timber, I've been
Yes.
going to burials in Uganda nowadays.
Mhm.
Flowers a day, it's just everybody comes in with the flowers nowadays. If
People,
you don't take
people
flowers,
bring flowers.
yeah, on burials nowadays,
Okay. Mhm.
it's a lot since it's becoming a trend and it's a common practice these
To
ways.
copy.
Yeah. But
Okay.
what they're saying is they can't do nothing. If anybody has fallen in love with someone, if they deport her to Nigeria, the man will go to Nigeria and follow her husband and then divorce and marry the woman and bring her back to London. The only thing they haven't told about the age. The man is a widow. Maybe they're the same bracket, the same age bracket.
They are most likely in the same age bracket, and I'm thinking late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah. So they're in the same age bracket. So they are getting on away with that. What it is, what has gone through the bridge, just have to leave the woman and get on with their life and make arrangements.
How does the husband cope now, being
Yeah,
back?
you get bad news. We had our brother, our fathers. We used to drive the lorries, used to go far away on long journeys, get married, they stay there. I knew some of them who were in Kampala, they relocate to Mombasa, and they stay there forever. So it has been a common practice with men abandoning their wives, getting married somewhere else. Now the tables have been turned upside down. We just have to accept it. That's the way of the game.
Thank you very much, Isa. Let me bring in more people into the conversation. If you've just joined us, the program is Come. Let's Talk with me, Kassim Kayira, live on 75W Radio, live on Umma, connected on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Zoom. 16 minutes just gone past 9 o'clock, and I'd like to bring in more people. It looks like we have more people in tonight. New people in tonight, and I'd like to hear. Sharifa, I come to you. What's your take, first of all, on this story? Sharifa, assalamu alaikum. Hello, Sharifa. Hello, Sharifa. I'll go to Hasfa Bideke. Yes.
Keke nga
Now.
tonnayita my big sis Hasfabireke nze mbadde mbuuza if when you think about this husband gwe baaleseeyo in Nigeria, do you think he would spend more than a year nga tebannabamuwasiza mukazi mulala?
Even then, it still feels like you have lost. Baba akutwarako mukazi. There's a sense of defeat.
The father would still marry someone else immediately.
He can marry, but it doesn't feel the same. It will still remain that I married after my wife was stolen. There is that. It's like a curse that will stick with you. Hasfa, salamu alaikum, Chara Sheikh. Welcome to the conversation. It's rare to have you here. I'm sure something dragged you into the conversation. How are you?
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm very fine, thank you.
Hearing this story now, how did that play out to you?
I had so many questions. One, first and foremost, it's a very hard paper. Section C style question. Very hard.
What's hard about that? What's hard about
Uh,
falling in love?
I feel sorry. It's not all about love. I feel sorry for the girl. One, the dad is going to blame the girl for taking the mom. Okay, yet it was a genuine reason why she had asked the mom to come and help. But we also have to think about mom. If mom is happy this way, we also there are so many factors we need to put into consideration.
Yeah.
How was the relationship? What kind of marriage did they have with the dad?
Mhm.
So, omukyala ono ng'era bw'agambye nti takirabangako first and foremost abasajja muyigamu ekyokuyiga
Yes.
ebyokugamba nti buli ssaawa omukyala simanya buli ssaawa abeere ng'ali mu ffumbiro yafumba takola ki tomulina kyemukola ndowooza mubirabye ebivaamu atuuse ku kintu takirabangako bamuwadde kino bamulabirira bajula namugjamu ngatto
Asfa, this is what I was trying to say, and I was trying to keep myself in check, like not to go overboard. But I've seen women, I've grown up around women suffering, whatever she is really, in desperate. There is a love deficiency in terms of care, leave alone just the love. There is also the deficiency of love.
Yes.
Someone comes and hampers and spoils you. When you hear someone has fallen head over heels, this is not just something that just comes, like out of the blue. And you will know it once you get it. This is what I was trying to communicate, and Asfa Kasuja was really not getting the point I was trying to push.
Baby sister.
My point was there is someone who has wanted so much. There is that, and Hajat Sarah was saying there are lots of things that people want but sit on them for the sake of the marriage. Now, for the sake of the marriage, if it gets to a time where you are 58, 60, you are towards the end of your life. Someone thinks that moment of bliss that is going to give them that happiness. Flowers, picnics. I see her going out in the park, laying out a towel or rather blanket and putting all these fruits. Dogs running around, and mother is all in this Nigerian tone. And imagining this just for the first time, just trying to paint that picture. I'm just trying to put myself into those shoes, as difficult as they are. Please go ahead, Hasfa. I was just,
So, Ngera, just an addition. Imagine, she has never experienced this. She has said it nti takirabangako bamuwa ebimuli bamuwa biki kati agamba nti bana impachinensi let me go with this man, let me explore. Ayagala nakwebwayo ku poliisi kugamba nti kale byayo. So it is a catch-22 Bambi, in the sense nti omuwala tamanyi kyakukola kubanga kitaawe ajja mugamba nti gwe watwala mukazi wange, ate abasajja muli bazibu, yeerabidde ye ejja kwejja mu mubiri. Okay, abalala nga tebaliiko, abali ku mukutu nga tebaliiko, abasajja beerabidde nti bo what they do, they try to blame other people. Naye if this man was truly giving this woman love, I don't think this woman would think about going with this man. She would have some reservations. Naga nti bano banaawulira batya, omusajja abadde anjagala, omusajja abadde ankola kino, ate ngende noono sikaakuba muzungu, sikaakuba biki. Naye because of your behavior, that also impacts on how someone is going to behave. We don't know what happens behind closed doors with our parents. So ayinza okuba nga anateekawo front, but she has been suffering, just like you have just mentioned. So let the woman be.
Thank you very much. First timer, and the beautiful one at that. Hajat Sarah, please come back in. It looks like I've touched a chord with you. And yes, please bring it on.
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
What is concerning me mostly is us women thinking that we should just be loved. How about us showing love? Because I think love is two-way. If you give it, you get it. It's a give and take thing. So we shouldn't capitalize on men showing us love when we don't show it either. most of the time we spend much of our time looking after children and also ignoring our men. We don't really show them any love. So if I want flowers, what is the problem of me buying flowers for my husband? At least if I start it, he can also do it for me. So let's not blame men as not showing us love. We also have to show them love. So if we
Sarah,
all
why do I have a feeling? Why do I have a feeling this Nigerian mother is already buying flowers for this man? Because if he bought them and she liked them, I imagine her sort of reciprocating, buying flowers and, bringing them and probably placing them by the door because she can't knock.
for me, I think you're finding this really funny, but it's not funny.
No, it's not. It's because I know Hajat Sarah. I'm very serious.
Nkubuulireko
Yeah.
bino ebintu ebimu tubyogera ng'abasaaga naye bwe kigenda ne kituuka mu nnyumba yo oyinza okiraba obulala. It's very easy when it's happening at the neighbor's place or to someone else's father or parent. Now, if it happens to your parent, or you, or if me, I nkeera enkya nembeera nga nange bimuli bintutte nendeka abaana bange awo, it can cause other issues, real issues. Twerekemu ebitiibwa
Hajat Sarah,
byaffe.
I'm not taking this very lightly. And when I say this, I know what I'm talking about. Hajat Sarah,
I know.
You will agree with me. Very many women buying out those dreams of how they would have wanted things to look like. And they have not been.
Naye bo bakozeewo batya okutuukiriza dreams ezo. Oluusi we expect things from people nga nabo tebamanyi na bye tubasuubiramu. Tetubataddewo mbeera yonna kumanya kiki tubalina tukolera. Buli omu omukwana alina bw'agutegeera. Oli ajja kugulira amatooke ge buli wiiki ng'akugulira ettooke n'ennyama nga ye amanya akuwa omukwano. Oli aleeta ebimuli byokka byokka nga naye byakwereddemu. Oli akugulira engoye. Buli muntu alina bw'alaga omukwano gwe. Ate era n'obutategeeragana nabo baamu. Totegeeza nti mu nnaku if you live with someone it's going to be just love, love, love. Oluusi wayinza okuba obukuubagano ate nabo ne buggwaawo. Abantu bonna ababeera awamu embeera eyinza okukyuka essaawa yonna. Naye bannange obufumbo kintu kikulu nnyo, bulina okubeera respected. Era kyova olaba nti in nowadays if there is anything that is not going right, you would make a complaint to your auntie n'abaako wasolving ekintu oba wakojjaawo n'abaako bali abantu abakulu they would come in. Naye olwaliro tukitwala nga kiri layisi, it can be broken anyhow, ekitiibwa kyakyo tekikyaliwo, ate nga bino they are going to affect our children. Omukyala kye yakoze is very unspeakable. It's unspeakable kubanga bwe naggambe it has implications to her own children. Noono omuwala gye yafumbiddwa bannange tamuwadde kitiibwa. Taata mukoddomi we naye amulaba bulala nnyo. Tulina bye tutalina kukola.
I think Hasfas mentioned that as well, saying how about son-in-law? He would be worried that his wife would end up like the
do the same thing. Tuwewe ekitiibwa. Bye twagala musi tugenda bimala shekkeke. Ebiseera ebisinga oba ng'oyagala 10 n'ofunako 4, gumira ku ebyo okuza abaana owangalira awo.
Obugumikiza si bwabwo Hajat Sarah, but
tulina obweteekamu. If you enter marriage, obufumbo si bwa buli muntu. Naye yabuyingidde alina okumanya. Era bwe tubeera nga tukuba vows era obiwulira batugamba. Tulina okugumiikiriza mu bulungi ne mu bubi. Bw'oba okedde enkya if you find nti omusajja ebintu tebikola, wanika omukono oveeyo mu kitiibwa. Naye toleka obufumbo eyo n'oleka nga tobumaliriza n'oyingira obulala. It's not going to work.
Barakallahu fikum, seriously noted. 27 minutes past 9 o'clock. Oh, Hajat Sarah. Hasfa Okomie, please. Looks like which is interesting in that sense.
Neyanziza to give me this opportunity again. Hajat Sarah, in agreement into obufumo should be respected. Naye if I look at Islam as well, ekambe tobeera mu bufumbo ng'obonaabona. One, I have two reasons here. One, tutunuulidde omukyalo ono, we don't know. Nagambye nti naye tasobola kuba from the blue. N'alekawo obufumbo bwe nga bulimu abaana be ng'abadde alina emirembe mu bufumbo obwo. Naga nti kandekewo abaana ngene mpale nono gwe nakalaba. There must be some issues. You people, we don't know what underlying factors have been going on. Emabega obufumbo bw'omukyalo ono okusalawo ogamba nti not I'm going to go with this man. Bannanga abakyala tutudde mu bufumbo nga tugamba nti nti we are sitting in bufumbo kubanga abaana kubanga gundi bazze batubuulira nti for example obusiraamu kubanga I know there are other religions on here tebukkirizangako nti nti tula mu bufumbo ng'obonaabona kubanga oli mu bufumbo. That is why bateekawo okweyambulula omuntu obanga abadde first and foremost Hajjat Sarah yogedde ku bakyala kuba abakyala nabo balagera abo abakyala naturally we are there to be loved tuli bimuli by'abaami.
Hajjat Sarah is saying, and I think she's mentioned it before, there is no problem with this woman falling in love. Naye, let her go, end her marriage officially with her husband. Like for example, now not taking phone calls at this moment is actually much more worrying. That probably would have made a lot more sense if she would, get back to the husband by processing the whole divorce process, which can even be done without her having to go back. They might be able to do it in such a way that it can be done without necessarily her going back, and she ends it officially. But now, for a man who is unaware of what is going on, don't you think it is unfair on the man?
In that respect,
and actually, religiously, both in Islam and Christianity, it is wrong.
Okay, I do apologize. I missed that bit. So I came in, so I missed that bit. I do apologize. In that respect, it is very disrespectful. I didn't know that there was no communication between the two.
She's refused to take phone calls. She's no longer taking phone calls.
Yeah, and now
the daughter is in a dilemma because now that she breaks the news to the father. How does she break the news to the father? How does it come across that it's not taken as if they were in on it, both of them, as if they were both in on it?
Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe the girl should speak to the mom with the African style, the African upbringing. Relationship.
Yes.
So,
but she invited the mother here, so there's a sense of responsibility on her.
So agambe mama, mama, nkwegayiridde for my sake. Kubira daddy omugambe nti kino kiri bwe kiti ne bwe kiti tojja kubanga nze sijja kukisobola nze nga nze. Naye let the mom communicate. Omwana yegayirire nnyina acommunicating ne kitaawe kubanga aleme kukiyingiramu ye nga ye kukiyingiramu fuli. Yes, yaleeta maama ne maama ayogere ne oli bbaawe ate ono kitaawe. It is a hard paper.
There are so many strands to this. All right, thank you very much, Hafsa. Thank you so much. Aisha Masimbi, your hand is up. Please go ahead.
Let's go brush.
Aisha Masimbi. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Check whoever is such an interesting topic.
Amin.
Very interesting. Naye nze ndi ngamba of course tetumanyi bintu bingi bikwatagana ku mukyalo ono. Naye abantu abakyala era mmanyi nti abangi batwogeddeko obufumbo bungi bubaawo ng'omuntu anyigirizibwa n'avaamu n'ebirwadde heart attack, stress n'emuyitirirako ng'agumya nkoma abaana bange. But this woman, it could have been an opportunity okulabayo omuntu akola ki amwagala bw'ati n'amulaga by'abadde atalabangako n'asalawo n'akyusa ku bulamu n'amanya nti emyaka gino 10 oba 20 tomanya Allah gy'amutegekedde nti kanve mu bufumbo. Tetumanya oba n'omusajja yennyini gy'ali abadde amuyisa bubi. Ate oluusi oba n'abaana ne bagamba nti emanyi mami oyinza okuvaamu bw'oba tokola ki kuba naye bye tubiwulira nnyo oli n'agamba mami teweesiba mu kintu nga balabira ddala mami ali haati. This time around kiyinzika okuba nga muwala we takyagadde kubanga probably akimanyi nti dada agenda kuba leaving alone this case alone naye abantu bangi batoola mu bufumbo ng'obufumbo tebali happy ng'agamba kennaafuna opportunity yonna nenva wano alinda banzizeewo lwaki nsigala gye ndaze ekyo nakyo weekiri.
Yeah, but Aisha, the point I think we are trying to raise here was it is perfectly fine to wake up one day, like in Islam, for example, and I would imagine in Christianity, while there is the together till death doth us apart, in Islam, it is allowed for you wanting, just like you fall in love, you can fall out of love.
Yes.
But it is done with procedure where the person is let know. Because now the father is back in Nigeria. Regardless of what the circumstances, he allowed the wife to come and look after, do the omuge, where they come in, to look after the child, whatever. Traditionally, one been brought up in her grandmother's hands. Husband back home waiting for wife to come. And since she arrived, there has been communication via phone, probably via WhatsApp, where they see each other and just talk about the progress of the grandchild. Suddenly, mother is no longer taking calls, not even calling back, because she's suddenly fallen in love. So while she might have a justification, a yoga she can fall in love, we are human, and therefore that is human. But the manner in which it has been done has left the daughter in a dilemma. Where now, do you think, for instance, now the daughter should break the news to the father that this is what is going on?
To be honest, bino byandibadde byabakulu naye maama bw'abanga maama completely ayinza okuba nga tayagala kubanga amanyi the fire going to come from the man and she may not withstand that fire. They could actually cross her ne baviirawo ddala bubi nnyo ng'awulira ddala nti I would rather avoid him completely, I would rather keep away from him completely. Then, which means that at some point the daughter may want to, to take charge, other than leaving the dad in behind curtains.
Aisha, someone suggested maybe the daughter should invite dad to come because if mother is not taking calls and is not willing to go back, probably inviting dad might be a better option. Would you support that?
I wouldn't really support that because that is going to be another chaos. Actually, the daughter may end up regretting it. You don't know how they are going to react. Things may even escalate. They might even, hurt each other. Let alone hurt the other person, the other Muzungu, they're already in love. So it is going to be really hard. I wouldn't really expect the man himself might get hurt.
How would you advise this lady now, the daughter, to do?
I think, like Hafsa said, I think the daughter can actually speak to the mom, and which I think she may have already done. And if she doesn't at all respond, let the daughter tell mommy, I'm going to tell dad about this, your affair, because you've left me with no option. I'm going to have to tell him such that he doesn't actually think. He may get worried. Why is it that my wife is not responding, and may blame the daughter as well for not,
communicating
telling the truth. So
yes.
I think the best is tell the mom that, mom, I've spoken to you about this, I've done this and this, and you don't seem to have approved, but I'm going to have no option. I have to tell dad about it, other than keeping him in dark. I should agree that, they should tell the man, they should tell the dad.
Is this something that normally happens? Is this something that is common?
I think I don't know in percent, but I think I'm not surprised this happening. But I also think that these things happen. Even back home in Uganda, people live here and they remarry and they leave the marriage here and they go, and when people leave Uganda and come here and they remarry and they've left another man in the house for various reasons. But again, we are looking at the love, but also the woman may have not even been taken by the love, may even have been taken by the issue that obwavu bwannuma dda njagala nange okulinnyako ku
Naye
nyonyi
alina omwana ebweru who can afford to even invite her.
naye omwana kati ababysitting ayagala kutandika bulamu bw'abadde amisinga oba si kyekyo kaŋŋende nange ntandika obulamu obulala.
Right. Oh God, thank you very much, Aisha. 38 minutes past 9 o'clock. The program is Come Let's Talk with me, Kassim Kayira. We are live on 75W Radio, live on Uma Connected on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Zoom. And if you miss any of our programs, you can, of course, go back. Just go to YouTube, type in Uma Connected, or just type in Come Let's Talk with Kassim Kayira, and you'll be able to see all those episodes you have missed. So just go to www.facebook.com/75W Radio. Hawa now what day ngoli kufaya, and then I'll go to Jaden. Hawa, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Your take on this particular dilemma. How are you? Hello, Hawa. Hello. Yes, how are you? And you are live on 75W Radio on Umma Connected. How are you? Unmuted. Your mic is unmuted. Okay, Hafsa here says abakyala agenda okuva mu relationship nga baano badda like 5 years ago, just waiting for right opportunity. Rehma Mawia says, does the daughter speak to the father? If so, he should ask to speak to the wife through her. Yes, I think that was also suggested, Hajati Rehma. That was suggested that might be the option, but it looks definitely that the daughter speaks to the father, because otherwise then there would be a crisis if both mother and father were not taking calls. But it's most likely she hasn't mentioned that. And it may be that mother, knowing a Nigerian mother, I'm just trying to picture all these things because you see some of these ladies out here and you see how tough and no-nonsense they are. I'm even actually wondering whether daughter and mother have had an honest conversation about what is going on. It looks like daughter now has all the details, but yes, it has been going on because there are church sessions where now this widower, the Semuandu, is now coming to church, attending the church sessions, and is attending church sessions, is going for picnics, so that must be a sort of a family thing. I don't think it is just mother and the neighbor going for the picnics. It might be something that is arranged in such a way that even daughter probably has been part of this, scenario, just seeing it, but probably not believing it. How are you ready to speak to us? Wanji? How are Obadotia? I'm muting. Hannah Jamila. Hannah Jamila, are you there? Hello, Hannah Jamila.
Wanji.
Salamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Nyabo jegwale kutukusanyukidde ku program. Ndowooza oyina ndowooza ki ku mukyalo natutudde mu
Allah. Nange nzijeyo mu Kamoli, nga mbeera mu Kamoli.
okufa obufi wawedde dda.
Allah akbar. Omuge nga yaleeta obuzibu.
Naam?
Omuge okugenda okunyiga omuwala eyazadde nga mwavuddemu obuzibu.
Obuzibu bukyawonye nti si Nazaala teyatutte mwami wa mwana naye ngiraga nti muka mwana okuba teyatutte bba wa muwala we naye ye yalonda.
Anti ettabu eriwo kiri mu famire.
Yes.
Kuba kati maama waba namugye waka ne musitula. Sigenda kwogerako yewammwe mu America, sigendize ndi wano Uganda, ne muleeta wano Kampala.
Yes.
Anzijanjabe. Kati maama alhamdulillah akwataganye ne neighbor mu ngeri gye simanyi. Ogenda okufuna amawulire maama ne neighbor ebintu babiwanise. Wamugya waka waliyo muzeeyi, oluusi waliyo ne baganda bo. Kati maama wanaaba tagumye mutima kuddayo kumaliriza kintu ekyo, wagenda kubeerawo kwekulamu kwa famire.
simulaba bw'addayo
bamubajja
kukyekutula naddala nga n'amasimu tagakwata kubanga kati omukazi omugezi
kubanga
yalibadde nti bino
abamu
byonna
bagenda
bigenda mu maaso.
kulowooza abamu bajja kulowooza nti n'omuwala ono olukwe yalulimu
lyaliko baani nga baateesa amuleete
abalala
kiggwere.
bagambe nti ate yaluliimu. Kati olw'obulungi bw'okuyunga famire, mami talina buzibu kwagala musajja ye mulala gw'aba ayagadde, naye ekintu okifulumya otya, okikutta otya? Kati mami kyalina okukola alina okuguma, talina kukola bukozi ngeri yakwewagula bwewaguzi nti nze kansulewo kyensuddewo kiba kikole agumiikirize ku lw'abaana be, ku lwa famire ye, akwate kubaddeyo eri. Ate n'ono yennyinnyini omusajja yali tasooka kumukuma munnyo mangu muliro twewase tukole tutya. Nalimugambye alindako olina okusooka okuddayo erina byenjagala omaliriza. N'asooka n'amuleka awo ku kitengejje. N'addayo eri. Oba atuukira waka, oba atuukira wa. Naye n'asooka afuluma bulungi mu ddya liri nga tewagenda kubeerawo kwawukana kwa famire. Kubanga eno yajja kukola bintu birala nnyo. Okuwulira nti ate eyagenda okujjanjaba Nakawere yafumbirwa. Ekyo kigambo kiba kinene banna.
Naye olaba ng'omukyalo okyewuunya kati lowooza ku musajja
Kyewuunyisaamu kati mami bw'abeera nga ye yali oba yeekoowerakowera dda bulijjo anoonya ddewe Katonda agimuwadde simanyi ddiini kiri alimu kati addeyo mu magezi afune engeri ye gy'awumbawumba ebintu byagala nze munnaye nze nali ndikayo lwakuba nti kiki naye eddya lyo lyali lyannema ddalyo alifulume nga n'abantu bamulabye abaana be bakitegere nti maama anobye kati ye amala atetenkanya amagezi ge akomewo eri omusajja we amufumbire naye kasita agira ekintu bakitatati n'akisuulawo waati famire zigenda kweyuzaamu bamu bagenda kuwagira alaba bagenda kuwakanya okiwulidde kati famire yeetaagisa nayo okubeera nti eyungibwa famire yeetaagisa okuyungibwa taleetera muwala we buzibu akwatagane ne muwala we batuule ku mmeeza balowooze ekyokukola oba muwala we akiwagira ekyokuva mu ddyayo oba takiwagira ono omuntu mukulu ye bw'agaa nti nze omusajja mukooye azamapi mushikira naye ogenza otya ekyo kyokka mami kyalina okulwanako asale amagezi gonna mami akkirize agonde addeyo eri asooke amalirize biri akomewo anawana Katonda wanaabeera nga yakimwagaliza ajja kukisanga tewali buzibu bye byange.
Barakallahu fikum. Tweyanziza nnyo. Thank you very much. Oh my God. Okay. Oh my God. I need to bring in new people into the conversation, but I think we've had several ladies. Time to hear from a man. JP, please come and balance the boat a little bit and then we'll start. We'll go to Mastura and follow the queue. Jaden, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu with a 9:45 p.m. Your take on this particular conversation that we are having tonight, and so far what you've heard from the different speakers.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I think this topic is a bit controversial and it borders on ethics, borders on religions, borders on personal value. And I know we're looking at it happening in the UK, based on that story, but it can happen anywhere because there will always be differences in relationships. There will always be different demands on not just the mothers, but also the father. The father can get attracted to another woman, and if he went and got another woman, I don't think people would have a big cry out of it. But the feelings are the same for the mother. She may not have received the kind of love that she's getting here in the UK from that result. And when I say the kind of love, it's not the flower. The flower is just the gesture. It's just the giving. It's the demonstration that is giving her son. Now, if we look at our African marriages, that part of giving does not exist or rarely exists.
Jaden, sorry, your line is really difficult. It's a difficult listen. I don't know whether it's where you are at or the network, but it's a very, very difficult listen.
probably the network, but I can hear you clearly.
Yeah, it's getting better now. I think your voice was kind of low.
Yeah, so I was talking about
You are saying about African marriages or African relationships.
Yes, that giving part is not as regular as it is with the Western world. Because to us, when we look at the giving that we give to our partners, to give to our children, as long as there's food in the house, as long as there's a roof over their head, as long as there's treatment, we the Africans look at that as a giving. That is the kind of love that we give to our family. But in the Western world, it's that gesture, the little flower that he brings, the bar of chocolate here. Now, this month will probably look at it from a different perspective. And I want to put a different twist in it. Look at a woman who is blind or who is deaf. She will still find somebody and agree to go with that somebody without actually looking at the things that they give. But as long as the man demonstrates, I'm giving you something. It doesn't have to be a flower. It doesn't have to be money. It doesn't have to be food. But just that gesture, I'm giving you something because I love you or because I've got feelings for you. Now, what is causing controversy here is because our mothers hold very special places in our heart. And if you see your mother leaving your father, that's kind of a taboo subject because we are adults. But think of a child whose mother moves away with them from their marital home and goes to a different home, either because the father has died or because the father has divorced them. Now, to that child, it doesn't matter. But because we are adults, we're looking at it from a very different perspective. We're very protective of our mother. And what we call the taboo is the same thing that would have happened, or the same thing which happened between your dad and the mom. When she was leaving their home, come and join your dad, her parents probably look at it as taboo. Why is she going to marry a pauper, for example? Why is she going to marry an uneducated person? So to her dad, it became a taboo. Now the role has shifted to us as the children of this woman. I'll put it as this woman. Now we look at it as she's crossed that line from where we are used to seeing her in our home, and she's moved out of the home. So she's crossed that boundary. That's why we've got that feeling, that heart. And that heart is more felt with the female speaker, because as we know, the female speakers are more protective of our mothers. They are more protective of the fathers. So they are out there to protect that relationship between their dad and their mom. So it's a natural feeling, but these are adults. Let her decide what she wants to do, as long as it doesn't infringe on any other person. You brought her to look after the child. If she can go ahead and continue looking after the child, that is fine. If he doesn't want, let everybody move if their life the way they have chosen.
All right. Okay. It's a difficult listen, I must admit. I struggled. I had to stretch my ears to be able to hear you, but I just barely managed to hear the points you're trying to make. It's unfortunate. I don't know whether you can just log off and log back on so that we can see if the line will get any better. But I really, really missed bits and pieces. I was just hearing, I was just getting bleeds into the conversation. If you could probably just log back in. Farida Zabali, you've been on for quite some time. I'm sure now you've also built up a view regarding this particular conversation. Farida, you want to go ahead, please? Hello, Farida.
Hello. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ebyo si byangu.
Bifiriddewa.
Ebyo si byangu.
Naam.
Tetusobola kumanyira ddala
bikwewunyiza
kumanyira ddala exactly mukyala kiki kye yali ayitamu. Ayinza okuba nga oba yali anyigirizibwa nga yayagala dda okufuluma naye nga talina wuwe. Ate ayinza okuba on the other side, ayinza okuba nga yakemebwa bukemebwa naye ng'omwami we yali amwagala nga tamuyisa na bubi. Kwegamba si byangu n'akamu ebyo. Situation si nnyangu.
Kyekiri kyonna kubanga bw'oba yakemebwa oba teyakemebwa, mere fact nti yajja azze kulera mwana. Kati sooka otunuulire ekifaananyi ky'ono muwala we yamuleeta. Neighbor siraga nti muntu ali wala, ono muliraanwa. Kati laba ng'embeera yali bw'enkolagana eyaliwo wakati wa neighbor. Suddenly agenda kufuuka taatawo atakuzaala, ngamba step dad. Mu mbeera kati eriwo. Maama okubanga yeefubutukiddemu ne yeevaamu, omusajja n'amusitukiramu, obulabo ne bujja, obubaluwa ne bujja, oli yali yafadde omutima nga tamanyi nti ebintu bikyabaayo. All of a sudden n'ofuna omuntu ageegeenya n'agga nti owaaye onkuba.
Anti era kyekyo kye ŋŋamba nti si byangu kwegamba. Ayinza okuba mukazi wo nga yakemebwa. Nga yakemebwa bukemebwa, ate aba oluusi ayinza okuba nga yali yakyagala dda, nga yayagala dda okufulumawo naye nga talina wuwe. Kale kakati tetusobola kumanya.
Kati omuwala tumuwadde magezi ki ono muwala we? Kubanga ali mu dilema. Taata essimu akuba, maama takyazikwata. Omuwala kati alina okuba nti ayogera ne kitaawe naye abaffe amubuulire akimubwatulire ekyama kino ekyabaddewo kubanga maama essimu takyayagala zikwata. Muwala we akoze atya awagire maama kubanga yafunye omukwano, kubanga waliwo okutuuka nga maama we wuuno yajja n'okuyamba yakubeereddewo. Bamaama balina engeri gye bakaabakaabamu ne bapaintinga picture of an impossible situation. Nafadda nze gwolaba byempisemu okubatuusa wano wentuuse. Nfunye omuntu wuuno alabye ekyendi. I'm trying to paint a picture of ekiyinza okuba nga conversations nga muwala waba asazeewo okufeesinga nnyina. Muwala tumuwadde magezi ki?
Omuwala simanyi kyaliko, kwega ali mu kaseera kazibu, ali mu fix. Kubanga ayina mu buli ngeri ayina okubuulira taata we what is going on. Ayina okugamba, ayina okubuulira taata we. Kale first of all ayina okugamba maama we nti maama we ayina okugamba taata we kiki ddala ekigenda mu maaso, because tasobola just kusirika busirisi, takwata ssimu. Kati ayina okumubuulira. Ayina okubuulira maama, ayina okubuulira taata kiki ekigenda mu maaso. Kwegamba ayina okumubuulira. Omuwala ayina okugamba maama we abikole kyamire ppini.
Saara kati awulira anseka alowooza nti bituteeka lwa lusaago naye ndi mu kulaba akantu akali awe. Waliwo embeera enzibuzibu z'obulwa bw'obyogera ebimu. Bibulwa bw'obyogera. Kati nga ku musajja, because actually ku basajja kati olowooza tebagenda gaana bakyala baabwe genda kulabirira ku bazzukulu gye balageeyo okubasuulayo. Oba byo byamanyirwa dda kubanga batuuka mu myaka emikadde emirundi egisinga Haji bamusuulayo mu kyalo, maama n'agenda ew'abaana be agende alabe ku bazzukulu nga Haji bamulese emabega.
Era oyo omukyala kwegamba akoze eki, alusuddemu abakyala abalala kubanga abasajja bayinza okukola ki, eyo gundi bayinza okugiggalawo. Eyo gamba nti maama agenda ayambe ku mwana kubanga ayinza obutadda.
Barakallahu fikum. Tweyanze nnyo Hajjat Farida Zabali. Sharifa obadde unmuting, so you had unmuted yourself. Please go ahead, Sharifa. And our time is 3 minutes to 10 o'clock. Quite a tight one. Sharifa, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Yes. Your take, please.
Yeah. Situationally very, very nsinga kusaasira mwana, the daughter gwe nsinga okusaasira mwene yonna situation kubanga ali caught up in the middle. naye ng'ate on the other hand ne maama ngene badde bagamba tomanyi mbeera gy'abadde ayita mu bufumbo. Nze I have a few girls bw'oyogera nda bonna akubira marriages nga bonna kugamba baliwo just agamba nja kufindinga Mr. Right oba happiness nga ngenze mu jjana and they still married. In other words, baano badda naye n'okuzaala abaana bazaala. So the mother could have been in that kind of situation all her life. Kati afunyeeko kaliwe agamba, why not? You know?
Sharifa, wano mu chat room waliwo ataddemu message haswaga nti I know of a man who told his wife that gwe teri alikuwasa nze insurance ye ey'obukadde. So such comments can be defamatory to one's life. So omukazi n'afunayo this one who treats her like a queen n'agamba ekiba kibe siddayo.
Exactly. So
but Rema says the mother herself should sort out her mess, not fair on the daughter to break the news to the father.
Era nga ngambe the daughter is the victim in all this, yali caught up in the middle. Naye nga sirowooza nti nsaasira nnyo taata cause taata senga yali, if he was a good husband, I don't think omukyala omanyi oba wawasa mukwano gwo kiba kizibu nnyo. Waliwo byewerekereza n'ogamba saagala hurting my friend anaagamba ki, how will it look? So you always have that in your conscious. Naye kati omusajja bika naye abadde ayina byakola omukyala nga abadde aholdinze on. So azadde abaana maybe ng'era just holding on kati afunye time to find herself naye afunye amulaba amu appreciating agamba why not? I've only got a few years left anyway, let me do me, have fun, you know? So
I don't think anybody is against Sharifa. Hold on. Dawa Junior one maybe wants to talk to you. Junior, talk to Sharifa, please. Go ahead, Junior. What do inachogamba? Junior, I've unmuted.
Am I right there?
Yes, you're on. Please, Sharifa.
Excuse me. This comes to both you, the host and the lady.
The Sharifa.
Haji, in case that the daughter was your wife,
yes,
and the mother-in-law came to babysit your son or daughter, and that instant happened, how will you trust your wife? So which trust are you going to put between you and the family now you are living in?
That's why I said the daughter is the victim in all this. That's the only person I feel sorry for.
Someone again, please, I don't want to upset people here.
No, it's not about upsetting. I think we are having a conversation, and until you place it in the context of Muntu, then you start seeing yourself in that. So if you detach yourself from it, you miss the point, which is in case chibudde kugwe, how
oba kino kyogedde bulungi sitegedde emikasi kati kigudde ku nze nga mukazi wange mulabye maze let me say in English, I've seen my wife mukyala mama wafazze and then mama behaving that way anange kizito waliwo kubanga kino kiba kyekizito nnyo kinzitoweredde baba mbadde wano nga nange mpunze naye kati mama wange mama mukyala wange najja in case nga mulye najja. How am I going to solve this problem? Because now the man, I know mutawana kati. I'm telling you.
Yes.
Kubanga let me say, kati nawe tunule mugonyino kati never know mutawana gunzijidde. Nazaala wange atafunye omusajja. Kati ono omuwala naye wa ddembe ogenda okwenda awalala.
Kayinza okuba mu musaayi, kayinza okuba kana agoberera.
Akantu ka musaayi kabakwata dda. Ate maama leka gamba mama the thing you should say mama. It is not that omukazi yafunye way out. But some people we take our fathers in different way because we are back home. But that's the way how we are being grown up, brought up in that way. A man does not be loved. The man has a different way how if you want to love. And the second, there's even a lady who said about it something similar. She said that She was trying to put it into Wakowadda. Oh, Wakowadda. This is what came when the mother. And then the other thing is that we should start cooking, helping our wives. These are the things which comes out. But the role of a man is different, and the role of a woman was different, and it will never change because I cannot have a baby. It will never change. You want to change. That lady was talking that nama abasajja mulina katokuyiga. Mama bw'obeera walite omwami bw'aba omukyala bw'aba ayoza ebintu gwe nawe tegenda waliwo watakambe ofune emmere ofumbe. Awo bannange nkiraba nzizito.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much.
Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Njagala kubuuza Sister
Yes.
Sharifa.
Uh-huh.
Sister Sharifa, I'm going to play devil's advocate. Mbereko ku side y'abaami. I think there is a notion of, I don't know if you have any sons, nti abasajja bamaama be banyigirizibwa bokka. N'olwekyo the notion nti omusajja maybe omukazi abadde agumiddeyo mu bufumbo ng'ali miserable kyava yabadde ki kyava probably yakoze kye yakoze naye kirowoozeemu nti maybe omusajja akoze byonna by'asobola omukyala tamatira kubanga buli bwe tukiteeka ku sayidi emu buli kaseera nti abakazi bagumira mu bufumbo, which is actually really true, naye nga bambi gye bali abasajja abanyigirizibwa. Waliwo I think yali Sheikh yagamba nti naguma n'omukyala ne ŋŋamba kale kangume n'ono kubanga nali saagaliza muntu mulala yenna kubeera tortured nga bwe nali tortured kuba naye ne ŋŋamba ze kambeere
sacrificial lamb for all the other men.
Yes. Kati I think it is buli kaseera tubeera nga tugamba abakazi tuguma, which is true, naye abasajja nga nabo gye bali abali abanyigirizibwa.
In fact, now that Haspa, you bring this up, I'm also thinking the husband in Nigeria, he's been taking his responsibility by making the phone calls. Nenga, he might not miss the wife if she decides to go. It might be that's another thing that might be good riddance.
It could be naye ate on the other hand ayinza okumusajja naye abadde yeeyisa bubi kati omukazi okola byakoze nga yawadde omukyala liiwa okola byakoze. Waliwo omukyala yava e Uganda n'anoba n'agenda all the way to Netherland. Naye nga adduka musajja naye alina everything, asula mu nnyumba nnungi byo naye nga she was unhappy. Era ng'omusajja amuyisa bubi. She's been tortured. Naye nga ffe balaba eno twegomba. N'agenda the man n'afuna visa n'amulumbayo n'ayeegeya n'addayo. Naye ng'era kugamba she's a prisoner like in a castle. Kati onaafuna n'agamba nenfuna omuntu nga nzo ofuna visa. Avaayo. She's willing to just kati n'afuna omuzungu amugambako that kind of person. She'll run away. Naye nga ffenna abamulaba tugamba
she's just happy.
I wish I had that house. I wish I had they have everything.
All right. Thank you very much, Sharifa.
So
Thank you very, very much. First timer and a beautiful submission there. Jaden, you are back, and I see someone's hand up. I'll just get to them. But Jaden, first of all, let me come back to you because I think we couldn't hear you. I'm hoping that now we might be able to hear you slightly better now. Just to say, Junior, I see your hand up, but let me first get to Jaden. Jaden, go ahead, please.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi.
Wa alaikum salam. That's much better now.
Okay, I don't know what happened there.
Again, it's cracking. So the moment you start speaking, it just cracks. Yeah, it's still crackling. Hasfa says in the Hafsa with the case says it's because African men have normalized not treating their wives right. So that normally has caused problems. I think like we said with the devil's advocate, I think it takes two. The more you start digging deeper, you may find that actually there is something more hidden there. We have not had the end of it. But I'm also thinking with the man, I'm just feeling sorry I'm thinking some men now might, once this story spreads across, they might start to be hesitant, allowing their wives now to go to their daughters or sons to look after their children. I'm just wondering if this was a son, if the mother had come to a son's place to look after their grandchild, whether there would be a similar situation. I'm wondering whether the mother would be Kagwansonyi to the point of getting a man around her son's house. I'm just wondering whether that would be different. What will HG? I'm seeing new names. I just wanted to give them a chance as well to participate in the conversation. The way this program works is you are the experts. We come to you, we hear your experiences, which help to inform the kind of conversations that we have. So everyone here is an expert. Do not feel shy, even if it's your first time. The way the program works is we have a conversation, and it builds on your personal experiences, things that probably you have gone through, things that you have seen. HG, I'm coming to you. HG, are you there? HG, HG, I'll go to Hajat Sharifa. Hajara says, Sheikh Kiki, as a daughter, I don't see myself breaking the news to my dad. I may kill him off. Quite often, I mean, there is just that sometimes, I mean, you see, I can just imagine for someone who is waiting for his wife to come back, probably they've had conversations of what she should even be carrying in the suitcase as she's coming back now to break the news in that sense. Jaden, I see you're back. Let's try one more time and see if it will get any better. Apologies about that. And Hajat Sharifa, then Jakujana with Jody after Jaden. Jaden, go ahead, please. Let's see if the line is better now.
Yeah, I think it's not my day today. I hope this line is a little.
That's a lot better. Yes, hopefully once because when you are beginning to speak, then it will just go crackly. Given the time constraints now, we are sort of looking at this dilemma now. How do you think we should come out of this dilemma? What can be done to resolve this?
I think that the pressure shouldn't be on the daughter because she brought her mother in good faith to help with the grandchild. So the pressure should be on the mother herself, and if there's a community around, they should bail the daughter out and say, talk to the mother and say, don't put your daughter in this situation. But again, the mother is not to blame because she may have been in a good relationship in Nigeria, but with time, after you've had children, after you've developed yourselves, the sting of love gradually wears off, and we've seen this with our parents. They sit like strangers, and women being the emotional kind, if somebody shows them a little bit of something that touches on their emotions, they will be quick to leave. Whether they are seated on a bag of gold, whether they are seated in a palace without any emotions, as long as somebody touches on those strings of our heart emotionally. Because we have seen people living wealthy, I mean, women living wealthy, men living all the luxury and leaving all their children to go and live with somebody who is
With the
completely
Rasta, with the
a
Rasta
Rasta
in a
person,
bed seat.
yeah, in a bed seat. It's
Mhm.
because that person has played on their emotions, and it's not the flowers. It's just that gesture. That's what I was saying. You could give the money, you could give the flowers, you could just hold her hand. You are touching on those heartstrings, and that will make her move away. The father is in a difficult position, but I doubt he will be waiting long to replace the
It depends. If he's in his 60s, he might already be nursing a sort of a terminal illness that were probably, won't allow him to do the replacement that quickly. The prostate might already be underway, and that could
but
be, something.
he will be looking for a carer. So he's not going to look for the kind of love that me and you will be looking for. He'll be looking for somebody to come and care for him in his old age. And this would be the time when he will shower the new person with all the things that they may be missing.
Changing
But
the land titles and stuff.
changing the land title and
Yes.
selling whatever he can sell to move on, and that's just the way the world is. And the other thing I was saying is, because we are grown up, it looks really strange for our mother to go out and do those things. There's certain acts that you can't imagine your parents doing, and it's because we are mature and we don't want to cross that line. But for a child who is 3, 4 year olds, if the mother lives with them and goes to a different man, life continues as long as the basics of life are provided. Yes.
Mhm.
But for us, we look at it as different. But everybody's an adult. Once they cross that line, they can do what they wish, and life should really get on as it is.
How should the husband now be told about this news? Because probably it looks this lady would not have reached out with a dilemma if there was an easy way of communicating this. If mom was willing and ready to speak to dad about this new development, how do you think this news should get to him? Hajara says she can't break the news to if this was her father because it might just kill him.
You know, what they can do to break it and save his pride is to get somebody another man of his age and say, can you break this to your age mate and tell them the home is broken. We don't know the reasons, but your wife has decided to move on, because it's too much responsibility for the daughter
Yes,
to start
it's even
saving.
unfair. It's not just even, it's more than responsibility. It's unfair on her.
And it's very selfish of the mother not to tell her.
But she invited him. Or rather she invited her. Don't you think probably in that sense there would be a sense of responsibility? I took mom. Mom came in, but then the situation is beyond my ability to handle.
Yeah, that responsibility doesn't have to be a direct line. She can call, like if it is me and you here, and it happens. But my daughters would come to you and say, Sheikh, look here, our mother has done this. Can you speak to our dad and to break to him the bad news? And you being an adult, you'll break it in a way which is less, which is sensitive. You'll empathize with me and say, this has happened. Because I don't know what has happened to the wife, and what do you think about it? But if the daughter is to break it, there's going to be emotions on both sides, and much as she loves her mother, breaking that news to her father, who she loves, is going to break her heart completely. So it's really unfair on her, very selfish of the mother, and I think somebody should step in.
Wow. Thank you very much, Banajadin. Much clearer line finally. Got there. Barakallahu fikum. Yes, I come to LM. LM's iPhone, you've really, really been part of the conversation from the near start. Good to hear from you. It would be good to hear your view on that. LM's iPhone. LM's iPhone. Hafsa Cause comes back and say, Setika miguguji talijange. Mommy has to tell her husband the pressure I can put on my mom. She can even hate me. Mommy, whatever the decision you have made, please communicate to your husband. Absolutely clear. LM's iPhone, one more time. Right. I will go to Hajat Sharifa and then I'll come to Sheikh Sulaiman just to hear a view now. This might be a dilemma even from a Sharia point. Might be interesting just away from the social, just seeing the religious perspective. Hajat Sharifa, Assalamu alaikum. Please go ahead. Hajat Sharifa. And remember, if you're at work or unable to speak, you can just drop a message in the chat room so that we know. HG, one more time before going to Sheikh Sulaiman. HG, are you there? HG. Alemedeo. Okay, coming to Sheikh Suleiman there. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hasbi Allah. Are you there? 17 minutes past 10. We just have 12 minutes to the end of the show. Hasbi Allah, are you unable to speak? Okay, Hajat Sharifa unable, HG unable. Let me go to Mastura. Hajat Mastura Jodi, Salamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hajat Mastura. Yeah, they made Mukamori. Okay, I'll go to Texas. Hey, why not? Hajat Mariam, Salamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Trying to get everybody into the conversation now as we wrap up.
Waalaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sheikh
Texas, now.
Leero ndi Mukamoli.
Leero oli Mukamoli, oli ku mulimo oba lwa mboozi buzito bwa mboozi?
Ndi ku mulimu sewu.
Oli ku mulimo. Okay, noted. Ndowooza ne Hajat Sharifa naye message atuwadde. No problem. Thank you very much for listening in. Kantambule nkyaddayo. Rehema, Hajat Rehema Mabuya. Hajat Rehema. Hajat Rehema. Naam, salamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Nyabo jebaleko.
Alhamdulillah sebanai.
Dilemma eno tujikoze tutya. How do we deal with this situation? You are asking whether the daughter can speak to the father. If so, he should ask to speak to the wife through her. Kubanga mama simu aganyo jikwata. So you want daughter to...
That mama aliwa daughter speaks to the father. I'm going to mama wali au mumpe. Will she refuse?
Now?
Omwana breaking news to the father. That's putting her in an awkward position. I don't think she should let the mother herself handle her business.
Mother naye kati aganye okukwata essimu wadde okukubira muzeeyi.
They should put her in that position to do it herself. It's not fair on this girl to do that. She must be confused because she brought this woman here for totally different purpose. And now she's ended up doing whatever she's doing. And then you want her to face her father and break the news. That's not fair.
So if the mother totally refuses, what would be the sort of the last alternative you'd suggest? The situation, dad has to know one way or the other.
The mom herself has to tell the husband. The reason why she doesn't want to speak to him, or why she doesn't want to go back home.
It might be a bit of both, especially whatever this widow is someone who is already contacted an immigration lawyer. So there's already something that they must have.
Dealing with a married woman.
I beg your pardon?
Doesn't he know this is a married woman?
Actually, I think that is one of the questions I think we should have explored a little bit. But maybe that's why we're painting a picture, and it was not. It was like a church marriage where they can just, it was not at the registers or the registry, or maybe she's told him, "I'm no longer married. I don't love him anymore." And to this man who is desperate for attention, for care, maybe that has been, swept under the carpet, and that's why he wants to go ahead and get married. Especially for someone who goes to church, because they are even attending church. To imagine that you would want to process now marriage with a woman who had a husband where no divorce has been prepared. Actually, now that is getting me thinking, could it have been about forging any divorce papers that are pushing this man now? Because for him to go to an immigration lawyer and try to process marriage, there must be good reason to believe that this woman is not married.
He could have forged the papers because her being a visitor in this country, would she really know how to go about all that?
Well, she's been attending church, and in churches, always in these congregations, Kumzigiti Josangira, bakagezi munyu. Masjid jojja people who advise you.
The church
Church
should
is
be
where you find people who might be able to advise you. Older women who have been here. I've had cases of Somali women normally, and sorry to kind of sound like a stereotyping, but you find many Somali women are sort of single mothers. Baina be very kurutinze mu camp where from other, communities where once you've befriended, bakutera embeera that you can really live a comfortable life as a single mother and have your life, have your cake and eat it. And that has pushed some women to leave their husbands. I know of a particular case almost related to that. So when people hook up with people, the kind of stories abantu zebafuna wabweru awo are unbelievable. There is quite a lot out there.
It's a
Now,
dilemma.
it looks like
It also
you're
depends how
surprised.
close is this girl with her mom.
Now,
How close is the girl with her mother? That could be
we
because
don't know,
they
but the
will
fact that
talk,
she's gone public about the dilemma, I think
they
probably
talk in depth
explains.
and whatever. They should have discussed all this because I don't think the mother could just walk out and start dating another man and in front of the daughter, in front of the son-in-law. She should be embarrassed.
I wish I knew the setup of the houses, but I'm just trying to believe that if it's like council houses, maybe flats or bungalows, I'm just trying to imagine a picture where, because it's about access. Sometimes no muntu ogenda okufunza omuntu, for you to have a relationship with a person, it's really about the proximity. If you can have access to someone, no muntu omuzibu ennyo nnyo nnyo atuuka n'ogaa kati ng'ono yarabbi yamukwana ate nga you see how difficult this person is or whatever, naye ogenda okulaba nga this person omuntu oba tonnamutuukako, you never know, what is around them. So access is critical. This
What
is
would
next door
happen
neighbor.
if she told her mom, mom, I brought you to help me, but I think I can now manage. I think it's now time for you to go back home.
What if mom just crosses to next door? Thank you very much. If you can manage well and good, even better now I can move next door.
No, by the time you're telling her that, you're handing her a ticket to take her back.
But you can't force her. She's your mother and she's an adult as well.
Yeah, but you came here on my invitation.
Right. Yeah, that's quite something. Junior Simba says if the husband has been able to phone the wife, then it means nothing. It was not bad. It was not a bad position. Next, to remember what happened to, I can't remember how the woman revealed how he gets power from. It said already that who is the creation is about woman. They said that they are in, okay, 25 minutes past 10 o'clock. Hajatirema, it is a catch-22. I'm just trying to imagine a situation where this might have come from. Relationship, because has there been honesty in this? Because I think someone has suggested here that the neighbor now should be tasked. I think the Mzungu should be given the task of breaking the news to the husband.
No,
I think
he
it's
wouldn't care doing that.
Now?
I think for him, he wouldn't care because if he genuinely loves the woman,
Yeah.
and depends what this woman has said to him. Just as you said, possibly he said, me and him, we are done. There's
We are
nothing
done,
between me
yes.
and him, yes.
Yeah.
So that will make it easy for the Mzungu to say, now I'm the man in this woman's life. So you have nothing to say.
Yeah. I'm imagining this situation where now, subhanallah, whatever the woman said to the man that gave him the courage to even embark on this entire process must be, something grave. It must have been very reassuring for the man to give him the courage for him to get into this relationship. Because I don't think this is 1 week thing. It cannot just have happened over 1 week when you talk about teaching the person how to read, buying the flowers, the picnics. This cannot just be something that really is packaged into 1 week. So that has spread over time. And Therefore, probably even the disconnect, the fact that she's not with the husband, as good as he might have been, he's away. You have someone here. It is that element of proximity, someone having access. Omuntu atuuka cracking, and that's the bit that is kind of bothering me. And for men, I think there is a takeaway there, something to think about. So, Hajati Rema, how do we come out of this as we conclude?
Mother should handle her business.
Okay. Thank you very much. That is more loud and clear. More loud and clear. Barakallahu fikum. Thank you very much. Well, thank you to everyone who has contributed tonight in the conversation. It's one conversation that we seem to have an inconclusive decision. Mother should take on, her burden. She should carry her burden. She should carry her cross and face the husband. Ajat Sharifa says earlier, someone said that women are emotional, and this woman may have been swayed by nice treatment from this white man. I actually agree in very, very much so. Men too sometimes leave their wives for simple reasons. Yes, we do. Sadly, women will be negatively judged in these situations more than men. Yes, did someone, I think it was Jaden, who talked about truck drivers who go away. No, it was Isa Makumbi who talked about truck drivers who would go away, get married in Mombasa and disappear and never come back or take too long to come back. In fact, if it was the man who had fallen for his daughter's neighbor, we wouldn't be in on this Zoom right now. Well, if the daughter had flagged it as a dilemma, that would have been definitely. But the man could still, have this woman and still have his wife, but the wife cannot have both. I mean, that's the way it is, whichever way you look at it. Thank you very much for another very interesting conversation. Isma in the technical department there, Hafsa in the technical department that side. Thank you very much. It's very, very beautiful. The program is Come Let's Talk with me, Kassim Kayira. We are back next week, inshallah, on Tuesday, looking at another interesting topic. Remember, if you have any topic that you would wish us to have a conversation about, please flag it. Just text me, and then we can start doing research about whatever topic. Every topic can be discussed. The only difference is we do it here humanely and with decency. You can actually catch up on YouTube and on Facebook and on Zoom here, where you can just get the link off the back of this conversation. See you next week, inshallah. Thank you very much to everyone who has contributed to the show. Hope to see you next week again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.